Welcome to Festpod, the unofficial rock festival guide. This is the place for news and rumours about your favourite rock festivals, our music guide for the month, and some special things that we've found in Festpod Favourites. So let's welcome my fellow hosts, and we are now in our final form. First of all, it's Lee Ellingham. Hello, Lee.
I can't get used to this. There's too many people now. There's too many of us here. It's weird.
Okay.
No, it's awesome. Not maybe our final form just yet, but I like the look of this. So it's going to be interesting going forward.
Okay. You sound very nervous. Like you haven't done this before.
Do you know what? It's either nerves or it's the fact that I'm nailing these this afternoon. So might be a bit shaky and a bit high on caffeine.
You're on the monsters.
Yeah. I had to find something. You guys are on the beers, so I had to find something.
So, you know when you're on the monsters, you need a monster's voice to go with it.
Oh, go on then.
You're drinking Monster.
Yes, I am.
Yes, okay.
I need one of those.
You do, you should get one. And we've got Rich Holmes over in Wrexham. How are you doing, Rich?
Hey, I'm very well, thank you, Neil. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm interested in what T-shirt you're wearing. What is that?
Oh, it's the mighty Raised by Owls.
Oh, are you a massive fan, are you?
I do love the Owls. Massive fan, yeah.
Next we have Eamon Shortt. Hello, Eamon. Welcome to Festpod. I'm not sure, are you in Stoke?
Nearby, Uttoxeter, so just down the road. We're a nicer Stoke and smaller.
Oh, I see, yes. Well, there's much room for improvement, isn't there, from Stoke?
It's the only way is up. That's all there is.
Yes. The weird thing is, I drive through old Uttoxeter quite often, and the only thing I think of is the big JCB factory that's there.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You've got it nailed. We've got JCB and we've got a race course.
Oh, of course you have. Yes, and you live between the two.
Absolutely.
There's Eamon's house. So get in touch with us on the socials or on YouTube by looking for Festpod. If you like the show and you're a regular listener, we also now have a Patreon. We'd love your support, and it would all go back into the show. Just go on to Patreon and look for Festpod. We are all set up there now, and we'd love to see you there. Thank you very much. So let's begin with the festival news. Now, we're very big fans of Sleep Token on Festpod, and they have announced a January UK tour, which they will be doing with Northlane, which I'm hugely excited about. In fact, I spent this morning and the last few days trying to get tickets. Didn't manage to get Manchester, which pissed me off because that's where I live, and it would have been very convenient, 2 miles away. But no, I've managed to get tickets for Birmingham.
Well, that's not too far away. Well, you're not too far away then.
Well, it's an hour and a half or 2 hours on a train, I think. So I've booked a hotel.
Gotta love some Northlane, no support.
Yeah, Northlane are going to be playing as well. I'm not sure if I've seen them at Download, actually.
They have played Download, early main stage a few years back.
And me and you saw them at Slam Dunk as well, didn't we, Eamon?
Yeah, we did. It's going to be an interesting mix, Northlane into Sleep Token, because Northlane have the energy and Sleep Token are famously atmospheric, so it's going to be quite an interesting mix.
Mm.
Yeah, that's going to be a great gig. In fact, I think there are tickets still available as of today when I checked. But Manchester is sold out by the look of it. It actually says limited availability, which isn't true because you try and get tickets and you can't. So good luck if you're trying to get tickets for that. They're not playing very many places, to be honest. They're doing a massive tour around the world, as far as I can see. They've got in the UK Birmingham, Glasgow, Manchester, Bristol, and Brixton. But who knows if they're going to add any more dates to that? Would you be up for going
Yeah.
to see them?
It's something I want to do. I mean, Brixton's a massive venue for them as well to play.
That's the closest
See, I
one
did
for me,
consider going down
Brixton.
to London.
No, I don't think I'll be going to that. As I say, it's, like I said, like London to me now is an hour and a half, and I was there last night, and it's just a bit of a ball ache to get to now. I'm slap bang in the middle of Birmingham and London, and either way is an hour and a half, and it's just a bit much.
Oh, I thought you were closer to London than that. I thought that's where you'd be off
No,
to.
I moved, didn't I? I moved a bit further away, so I'm in the proper countryside now, and yes, it's a bit of a ball ache.
Oh, you're in the proper countryside now, is that?
Not quite.
You've
not
got
quite
to
that
adopt
side
the
of the
accent
countryside.
when you go into the...
No, not
Oh, right,
not quite
okay, so
that
you just-
side of the countryside, but
No.
almost.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
okay. Almost that side of the country. I'm sure you'll develop the accent as you live there for longer. You've not lived there very long though, have you?
Not in Oxford, no.
No. Of course, that's how they talk there. Next, Slam Dunk have announced more bands for 2023. Yellow Card will be playing Ocean Avenue, which confuses me. What's that? Is that a stage? Is it?
It's an album.
Yeah.
Oh, is it
Album.
really?
It's an album set, yeah.
I've never heard of Yellow Card before. But obviously you
You're missing
have. What do you know about Yellow Card?
Well, they were one of my sort of, I was going to say high school, but we're not American. One of my school bands, one of the first bands I listened to, really. One of the first bands I saw live. They're absolutely incredible. I've not listened to anything for a long time, mainly because they've not really existed, but it'd be really good to see them on that reunion show at Slam Dunk, definitely. Very excited for that.
Are you going, are you?
Yes, we'll be off up to Leeds on the Sunday, I think it is.
Wow.
Yes, very good.
Because we're going down south, me and Lee. We're going to the... wherever it is.
Well, yeah, the
where is it?
Hatfield leg. Yeah, it's Hatfield.
Hatfield.
Yeah, it's oh Christ, I think it's just outside Watford. Oh God, oh no,
Hatfield Park.
So
Yeah, there we go.
well, I thought my screen had disappeared, but look at that.
Look at this magic, innit?
Yeah, so we've
I
got...
love it.
Is it exactly the same sort of, like... are they appearing in the same order in the different north and south places? Do we know? Is that what happens?
So, presumably, yeah, they normally do. Whether Shikari and the Offspring switch who's closing each night, who knows? But it's just a ridiculous lineup as it is. So, whatever happens, it's going to be a good day.
Wow. I can't wait for this. Have you been to Slam Dunk before?
I used to go every year, but I've not been to the new site since it's been open air. But I used to go most years to Slam Dunk. It's a brilliant festival, so it's time for me to go back, I think.
Because you go to a lot of festivals, don't you, Eamon?
Yeah, I do get around, and Slam Dunk's always one that, with
You
it being so
slut.
close to download.
Yeah. Yeah.
With it being so close to download, it's always one I end up kind of losing. They have a lot of the same bands each year, which is almost a running Slam Dunk joke, but they always pull off incredible lineups, even with that. And I can't pass up Enter Shikari, really, so there we go.
Yeah, Lee and I are always astounded that people go to Slam Dunk and get to download as well. I mean, is it not a lot to cope with?
Yes, but I'm also saying this as a guy who did 3 festivals in a row this year, so I'm not really one to talk, but it's definitely a lot to cope with. But there's worse problems to have, I think.
It's all right for you when you don't drive, though, Eamon, so...
Yeah, I am the designated drinker, so...
Cheers.
So someone's got to do it, guys. Come on.
I like that. So you get chauffeur driven to all these festivals.
Yep.
Do you know how have you managed that? Are you deliberately not getting a driving license?
I mean, I say it's a case of, time and money, but really it's a case of me not wanting to drink and drive. Because that's obviously the only alternative.
Yeah,
Don't do it,
drink
kid.
to drive. Don't do that. No, that's. I think I doubt that's ever going to change, is it? Whilst that's because that sounds like a very comfortable arrangement.
Yeah, it's almost too comfy, you know. It's probably not practical real terms, but for the most part, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine for you.
Yeah.
So, anybody else we're looking forward to seeing there at Slam Dunk?
Harriet. I can
Oh,
finally
you said
say
it in
it
one
properly
go
now.
there.
Yeah, thank you for you helped me this week. Harriet. I thought they were absolutely brilliant at Download. And to see them on the lineup, I was actually quite excited by that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I've also just started doing my playlist for the research of the bands I don't know. And I have discovered Charlotte Sands, sort of a very pop punky type, almost like single act. She's really entertaining. And also Malevolence, seen them a few times.
Yes.
But obviously, yeah, Enter Shikari and The Offspring are the main two that I'm looking forward to.
What about you, Rich?
Malevolence, Creeper, Hold an Absence, all worth checking out on that lineup.
There's some belters, aren't there? I think it's a really good festival, considering it's a one-day festival, and they managed to do it over 2 venues, north and south. And I think that's quite an achievement.
It is. It's good. And I mean, I missed the fact that they used to do a Midlands one at the NEC. That was a great venue for it, in my opinion. It was split well out over the exhibition halls and worked really well. But yeah, I mean, logistically, it's hard enough putting on one festival on one site. So to do it split across both ends of the country, it's got to be an absolute nightmare for them.
Do you think there are people who go to both north and south?
Oh, 100%. I've got a couple of friends that do it, and they do actually sell weekend tickets, so you can do both. So it's a thing. But I mean, if you want to see every band on the lineup, you have to. But it's logistically a nightmare.
Yeah, because they do. We were talking about this, weren't we, Lee? They do an after party that is quite substantial on its own as well, don't they?
I don't get the after party with the London one because it's in the O2 in Kentish Town in London and Hatfield in London are miles and miles apart. It just doesn't seem feasible. Surely they'll have a shuttle bus on from the site down to London for that, because that's just insane.
How do people get to the after party? Do they have to sort themselves out?
Imagine so. I mean, I'm getting Big Green Coach back from Hatfield to Oxford.
You've decided now, have you? You're actually going to get on the Big Green Coach.
It will be cheaper. Plus, my car is struggling to start at the minute because it's been on the driveway and not been used for a couple of months since download. The bugger don't start. So
is that the car that you got for free?
I get all my cars for free because my partner. For context, Eamon and Rich, the first car I owned was from a grandfather-in-law. We took the keys off him, so I got it, and then the wife got a new car, and I've got that. I've never paid for a car in my life.
When you say you took the keys off him, can you give me some context on that? Was this kind of like a robbery, or?
He probably saw it as a robbery. No, he's lack of a better phrase, he's ancient. So it was about time.
Notice.
He's probably forgotten he had a car. He's lovely as our Ronnie, but he's probably forgotten he's ever had a car.
What a life of luxury on Festpod. Eamon gets chauffeur driven to all his festivals. Lee doesn't even have to pay for a car. Do you pay for your petrol though, don't you, at least?
Of course. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Insurance and petrol and all that I pay for. Just the actual physical car itself. The physical car itself, no, never had to put a penny towards it.
And there must be something that you've got, Rich, that's living the life of luxury.
Well, I guess with my current health situation, I spend 99.9% of my time getting chauffeured around as well. So I might take the piss out of Eamon, but at least I can drive. I just physically can't at the moment.
Sounds like excuses to me.
It's all right for some, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, European festivals have been bleating on the internet. What have we got? What's happened?
So it looks like Nova Rock, which is in Austria, Greenfield in Switzerland, and Rock for You in Czech Republic. They've all started announcing bands, and it seems there's a number of bands that are all playing those festivals around the same time as Download. So it's probably worth mentioning that some of those bands will definitely be playing Download. And I think for one, I think we can 99.9% guarantee that Slipknot will be playing Download. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It just seems like that's an obvious one now.
Yeah. I mean, they were due to do their Knotfest this year, but then they cancelled that and haven't rescheduled it. So it's looking pretty much nailed on that they might even bring Knotfest to Download, is what I'd say. I'd go that step further, but yeah, I'd say Slipknot are nailed on, and I'd probably put Parkway in that same list as well there. You've
also got like Architects, which would be amazing, playing Download. Obviously, they've not played Download in years. Obviously, they had to cancel the last time they were due to play Download. So that'd be really good to see them, especially quite high up the bill, which I imagine they would be.
See, I don't know how you can predict that these bands are going to be at Download based on what's happening in Europe. I've never understood that. What goes on there?
It's festival maths, isn't it? You look
at the
gaps.
I like your festival maths. Go on, teach me some festival maths.
You look at the gaps in the schedules, and you've got obviously your travel time to factor in there. And if they're a headliner, are they bringing their full stage show with them? You've got to factor in that kind of load out, load in. And you just kind of it makes sense, you know. Is it mathematically possible for them to bring the show over? And these fit in for me. And I'd agree. I think we're probably got Slipknot and Parkway, and possibly Architects nailed on. I mean, there's nothing really on our list of bands here for these European shows that I'd be disappointed with. You know, are Parkway finally going to get the Download shove as a headliner? Are we finally going to see it?
I mean, it'd be nice to see a new headliner. It very much would be, and Parkway Drive will bring the show to do it as well. So I think it would be the right one to choose for next year. But I'm a Nova Rock lineup. There's one act that if Download have the guts to book them, I want to see Scooter at Download. I want to see Scooter.
Do you know what? I think that'd be fucking amazing. To tell you what, I thought about this. If you get them to headline the Avalanche stage, the third stage, in that tent,
yeah,
like or either opposite the headliner or just before, I'm sorry, Scooter would have that tent rammed, and it would be a lot of fun.
It's like that. What's that bar? The cocktails bar they have, where they're always blasting out tunes like that, and that's always full of people just loving it. What's that called?
A Rocktail Cocktail, isn't it?
There you go. And people love it, don't they? I can see that happening.
Yeah, I love it. I wish I could spend more time at the Rocktail Cocktail Bar and throw some shapes, just some cheesy dance music.
That, Rich.
Who knows? One day you might.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd absolutely love to see that kind of bold, brave booking again at Download and have some kind of dance act, because there is crossover, and you know, rockers, metalheads, they love a bit of cheese. Let's be honest. You know, 3 a.m. they'd be 3 a.m. But Scooter that.
Yeah.
That, you know, you could be in the doghouse and they're playing some cheesy dancey stuff, and all these big hairy metalheads such as myself, top of the voice, giving it large to dance music. Do it.
I think there's room, isn't there, for more than just sort of the regular rota of what we get.
There's got to be, because it keeps festivals fresh, doesn't it? It keeps people coming, and it brings new people in as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But you don't want to go too far and end up like Reading and Leeds.
God, no. That's all I'll say on that matter.
I honestly think we'll be safe, because there's too many. I think the crowd at Download is a bit more mature, and I mean that age-wise, not actually acting mature. I mean age-wise, which I think again, the Sunday at both festivals, it just turns into absolute carnage, which I don't think anyone at Download, especially in the RIP, would tolerate. So I think we'd be safe.
Yeah, I can't imagine Download ever turning into what happens at Reading and Leeds, where they're throwing camping furniture and there's basically a riot goes on. I can't ever see that at Download. We're just not that kind of people, are we?
No, and I mean, we had, what year was it? We had Chaser Status going into Prodigy, and, you know, if you're going to drag any of that kind of crowd, it was going to be that year, and it was absolutely fine.
Oh my God, I would love to have seen that. At Download Pilot, me and Lee went into the silent disco. In fact, you weren't there for very long, were you, Lee? Actually, but I was there for a bit longer. You went.
No, I got too. I was too drunk on the Jack Daniels that you were giving me, so I decided I'm going to go to bed.
But yeah, the silent disco, they weren't playing metal particularly. They were playing pop tunes or, you know, high energy dance music. And the atmosphere in there is something I'll never forget. It's not something I've ever been to, actually, the silent disco that happens at Download, because I know that it happens every year, doesn't it? There's a silent disco, but I've never felt the need to go. But on this one time I did, and I loved it, and I would definitely go again if it's if it's that. It doesn't have to be rock, it doesn't have to be metal. It can be anything that just gets me going, because I was off my face.
You see, I love a good silent disco. I absolutely do, but it's just so much effort now as I feel as I'm getting older to make that trek. At the end of the day, and walk to the village and throw some shapes and probably wrestle Eamon at some point as well. And I'm getting too old for it. I'm getting too old to be able to have these full days of just debauchery. I just can't do it anymore.
Rich, we're never going to get to see these shapes.
Oh, you will do. Don't worry. I'll find a way. There's always a way.
Even if it's just in the campsite.
Yeah. Well, I'll bring my decks, right, with a generator, right, and we'll get some bangers on at camp, and we'll get kicked out of Park Farm. It'll be all good. It'll be fine.
Looking forward to that. So Paramore have announced a comeback single, and it's called "This Is Why." What are your thoughts on Paramore?
Well, so Paramore have always been this band that will always evolve. Every album's been different. Almost every song's been different. This particular single, which came out a couple of days ago, I can't say I'm the biggest fan of it. Whether it's a sign of what's to come, it's very. I compare it to kind of Two Door Cinema Club-esque. It's very kind of indie pop driven.
Oh yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing. It's not my cup of tea. It's certainly not. If you're expecting Misery Business, you're not going to be happy with it. But it's a sign of what's to come, and I'm open to it. But it doesn't hit the mark for me at the minute.
I have to agree. It wasn't what I was expecting, to be honest. I was expecting something heavier than that. I'm not that I'm a fan or anything, but I have heard their stuff before.
It very much sounds like a middle of the album kind of song, not a lead single. So it's an odd one to choose if there is something more upbeat on the album, but we'll see what's to come.
I get the impression they would go down very well as a headliner at Download. Again, a lot of the talk on the forum is they would only do a headline slot. And I think with all they've had 2 UK number 1 albums, and the last album peaked at number 4 in the UK charts. I mean, would that that'd go down well, surely?
See, I think they'd split more opinions than Biffy Clyro. I think with their modern sound, I think they're a Reading and Leeds band, but I'd be happy with them headlining. I'm happy to welcome them, but I think they'd split opinions. I think they'd sell a lot of tickets, but I think they'd split opinions. But they should be headlining.
Are they a bigger band than Biffy Clyro?
No.
That's a very defiant no, then.
Are they fuck? Yeah. Are they fuck? I'm on the biff. I'm on the fucking biff. Fuck.
Yeah,
no.
I mean, could they fill up? I mean, I just find it hard to see them headlining, that's all.
I could never see them headlining. I could see them headlining second potentially. I couldn't see them headlining main. I totally agree with Eamon. I think the vision that it would cause would be absolutely unreal. I got nothing against the band. I quite happily listen to their earlier stuff. I mean, this new single which I listened to whilst you were making a cup of tea, Neil, it's shit. In my opinion,
Well, yeah.
it's not for me.
Not for me.
It's not for me. But no, I just couldn't see them. I think they're probably a few years too late to headline, and I think they're probably a few years too soon to kind of come back as a kind of nostalgia act.
Yeah.
They've passed their peak, which is unfortunate. Now, there's... I'm just looking at the next story. One of us really, really loves a particular band.
Yeah.
And it's Lee. Go on, Lee. Tell us what's going on.
Right, yeah. So you will find InVisions will get mentioned at least once every podcast. I saw them at the Boy Takeover in 2018, I think it was, and just as the music suggests, I just fell in love. I thought it was absolutely fantastic, and they're just getting better and better and better, in my opinion. And I met them at the last gig I saw them in March.
You've touched them, haven't you?
I have hugged the drummer Josh, and
Did
was
you
in
lick
licking.
one of them, or is that just
No,
my imagination? No.
I was within licking distance of Ben when I saw him in March. Like literally, where my camera is here, this is how far away I was from him.
That's very close.
It was pretty close.
Do they know of you how much you love them? Do they know that?
I doubt it. You know, I'm just
Really?
I'm just another guy with a podcast, so I'm probably no one to them. It's fine, you know.
Okay.
I'll find other ways to get them to notice me.
Yeah, lick them next time.
Yeah, I'll actually lick them next time. Yeah,
Yeah, they'll notice you then.
yeah. But the
Go on, what's the
news,
stuff?
the news the news I've got for them. They've released an instrumental version of the last album, Deadlock, which I gave a bit of a listen to earlier, and obviously I already know it anyway. It's just fantastic. It's how like Sleep Token did a instrumental version of their latest album. I think if this is the way that some bands are going to go, it's awesome. It's a really good idea, I think. Instrumental album. I'm a massive fan of it. They've also got new merch for anyone that wants to buy their merch. I'm plugging them, and they probably don't even know who I am.
No.
But, you know.
I really like instrumental albums that have a counterpart that has vocals in it. I'm just interested. I mean, partially it's because I'm a radio geek and I like analysing different audio things. But it's like a different album, isn't it, when you listen to the instrumental sometimes? Because you hear things that you wouldn't have your attention on, because a lot of the time you want to have your attention on the vocals. The vocals take you places. But then when it's just obviously the music, the music takes you places that are potentially different. And I love the idea. I'm not really sure who else has done it, because I can only really think of Sleep Token and InVisions. But I know there are other people who've done it.
There are a few. I couldn't name any off the top of my head. I'm sure I had a tip of my tongue then. But I'm sure there's loads of bands that do it. Yeah, they can't be the only two ever. Definitely not.
No, because this is a thing, isn't it?
I thought so.
So it's definitely a thing, but I can't think of any off the top of my head either.
No. It's weird, isn't it? Because we all think this is a thing, but we can't think of anybody who's actually done it. But yeah, so have you actually listened to this instrumental version of InVisions?
Yeah, I gave it a listen to before coming on, and yeah, like you said, there's something different about it compared to, obviously, I know there's no vocals. That's the obvious difference, but there is just that slight difference to it. You just think the album to me was amazing anyway, and then to be able to not hear it with vocals, actually hear the music being played, it adds something. It's really, I have no words for it really. No good adjectives.
It does something. I think it does good things for. Well, perhaps. I mean, I say this with complete guesswork, but as a lead singer, you've got to have a bit of an ego, haven't you? And so to approve an album going out that's just music without you on it at all, unless you're a guitarist or something, that's balls, isn't it?
I imagine vocalists actually do a lot more than we think they do. I imagine it's not just sing along. They have a lot of input, and imagine, like you say, they've got to obviously give a nod to say, yeah, let's do that. It sounds like a great idea. They've got to have confidence in. I don't know. You've got to be in a particular place mentally, I think, to say, yeah, let's do an album without me on it. Yeah, fuck me, who cares?
Yeah, who gives a shit?
So, yeah, balls, but in a good way. Foo Fighters, who I am a big fan of. But I know that a lot of people are not a fan of Foo Fighters, which I can never quite get my head around because... Anyway, but Foo Fighters have announced details of a new best-of compilation album. Do we need another compilation album from Foo Fighters? Do we not have enough already?
You've got to ask the question, why now? What's happening? Is this, if this is going to Taylor's family, some of the proceeds from this, then I understand that. But why now? It just seems to be, and don't get me wrong, I like Foo Fighters, and I'm devastated that I've never seen them headline Download. But it's just very, very odd timing, just off the back of the tribute concerts for Taylor. It just seems like cashing in.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you look at the fact that it's coming out on vinyl as well as CD. You're not releasing stuff on physical formats, without an eye on how much money it's going to make you. Because they do make money. They make more money because people want to collect them, don't they? Because very often people will buy the digital version, they'll buy the CD version, they'll buy the vinyl version, and whatever else comes out alongside it. So it is money making. So unless it's making money for the cause, I don't really know.
I know the fact that the CD version of this best of is 19 tracks and the vinyl version is 21 tracks. So it's making you buy both, isn't it? Essentially.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd have liked to have seen some unreleased stuff on there as well in an essential Foo Fighters album as well as the hits. We've all got the hits. But some unreleased stuff, a few unreleased tracks would make it worth the while, I think, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's something like, studio, other versions of the same songs that we already know, or, other takes. I'm always interested in stuff like that. Of the tracks that we all know and we can all sing along to, we know when this vocal comes in, we know when this guitar solo comes in, or whatever. We all know the tracks inside out, but it's just other versions.
Like demos or whatever. Demo versions, or like that'd be great.
Yes, Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I think would have more value because we've already got most of these tracks. And to sell them to you again in another compilation album, it does, it's hard to see it in any other way apart from let's get some more cash in, and it's a bit ghoulish to think that they would be cashing in on Taylor's death. But
I mean, the flip side is what happens to Foo Fighters now? What are they going to do? What are they going to do moving forward? Do they replace Taylor Hawkins? Do they call it quits now? Or is this kind of the end of this phase of the Foo Fighters and we see the band almost rebrand themselves and explore a different sound? And in which case, if that's the case, then I understand exactly why they've done this.
Yeah, because it's like the end of a phase.
Yeah.
I don't know, to be honest. I've heard that they're going to carry on, but I haven't heard anything more than that.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I'd heard was there was talk that they were probably going to carry on, but it was that there's been nothing kind of official coming out, is there?
Did any of you catch the tribute concert?
No, I
Caught the
missed it.
Wembley one.
Yeah.
The Wembley one was good.
I'm going to confess I did shed a tear when I saw his Taylor's son get on the drums. Absolutely amazing. Just and it was a hell of an atmosphere. Even watching from home, I would have loved to be there. I don't think I'd fully appreciated what the concert was going to be. Never mind even trying to get tickets for it, but it was good. It was good. I think it was a nice tribute.
Yeah, I think it was done really well, and Dave Grohl and the rest of the band put in a massive stint that night as well. Playing for like about 75% of the night, which is ridiculous. But we know Dave Grohl's a workhorse and just loves it, so he would have wanted to do it for Taylor. So it was good.
I'm just so I'm so sad for him though, because it's to lose a bandmate twice. I mean, wow.
Nice point.
Is this the curse of Grohl?
The curse of Grohl.
Is he going to find a
How
replacement?
morbid, but
Who wants to take up that position now? Who will they get in? But I mean, they had plenty of drummers in there, didn't they? They had loads of people on the stage, sat there. Some of whom I didn't really know who they were.
Do you fancy it, Eamon?
I mean, I can hit stuff. Not in time anymore. But that's all it takes, right? I'll just get a big backer track. That's what the professionals do.
Do we have any instrumentists here? Do you playing any instruments at all?
not
I
me.
mean, I used to play the drums, which is why Rich makes that joke. I used to play the drums back in college in a band. We were terrible. Like, honestly terrible. Mainly because of me and my influence. I dragged us down. But we didn't help ourselves. But I've not touched them in about 15 years, I'd say.
Do you still have any drums?
I have like a little drum pad thing, but no, I don't have an actual drum kit. I'd love an actual drum kit to get back into it, but that involves money and neighbours that won't get angry.
Oh God, that's the only thing, isn't it? With drummers, yeah, you can't really drum quietly.
No, it is a bit of an issue.
So next, what have we got? So Ozzy is in the news again. Is it just me, or is Ozzy all over the news at the minute? And Sharon, they're all over everything. I can't seem to get away from them. But anyway,
I quite like it that way.
No, well, I like Ozzy. I'm more. Well, how would I describe that? I think I'm more fascinated that he's still alive and that they're still together and their lives just fascinate me. I've been interested ever since
I
watching
thought
the
they were
Osbournes.
divorced. Are they not divorced?
No, they're still going.
I thought they got divorced. Fuck
He's
me,
only still alive because Sharon wants him to be.
He actually died 30 years ago.
Yeah.
He's now just a mechanical robot.
Yeah, well, that would explain a lot in 2016 when we saw him on the stage at Download.
No comment. No comment.
The story that we've got, he was. I know, Rich, he was.
I'll say it.
I'm disappointed.
I respect everything he did, and I expect everything that Sabbath did for metal. But God Almighty, man, have a break. Enjoy your retirement for the 18th time, right? Just enjoy life.
Yeah. He doesn't need to be on the stage anymore. He doesn't need to be writing records anymore. He can just enjoy what's left of his long life. So the story that I've got, there are many stories about Ozzy currently out there, and Sharon. But the story I've got is Ozzy Osbourne to release Unheard Taylor Hawkins collaborations, which is an interesting one. He's not somebody that, I mean, I know he's a rock legend, but he's not somebody that I would have ever associated with Taylor Hawkins. But apparently they did collaborate. There's a bunch of stuff in the bank. That's always interesting. phrase there. A number of where's this from? PlanetRadio.co.uk reported on this, saying a number of songs that Ozzy recorded with the late Foo Fighters legend Taylor Hawkins will be released for a new project. And again, it just smacks of money making. Why didn't these get released when he was alive? It's because there's interest. I know it's really cynical for me to say that, but I just think I can't really see it any other way. Although I would like to hear what they sound like.
Yeah, so on Patient Number 9, the album we just released, there's I think 2-3 tracks which Taylor drummed on. But obviously they did more during those sessions by the sounds of things which are coming out. So the tracks that Taylor drummed on are really good, but they also feature, I think, Zakk Wylde's on one of them. Well, Zakk Wylde's on most of them. But like that whole album's just full of guests. You've got Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton. Like, it's just full of guests on that album, and it's really good. But I'm interested to see how much he recorded with Taylor.
Yeah. And, I'm a fan of Taylor Swift. I'm interested in stuff he's recorded. I would like to hear
Taylor
it.
Swift?
Taylor Swift.
Shit. I don't know why I don't even like Taylor Swift.
Wow.
Liar.
Where's that come from?
Because you like Taylor Swift.
Obviously,
You're
I like
subconscious.
Taylor Hawkins there, not Taylor Swift. Embarrassing. Fuck off, Lee. Now, I don't know
Haters gonna hate.
I don't know if any of us has ever been to Glastonbury.
I'll appreciate that little joke there, Lee. I got
Thank
it.
you. Yep. Thank you for acknowledging.
So
Yep,
I'm not a
haters gonna
fan,
hate.
so I don't get it. I've never heard
You
any of
lie.
this stuff.
Yeah, how can you not know haters gonna hate?
Why would I?
Because he's a player.
Anyway,
You
I don't know
can't
whether
cut this
of
out.
any of us-
This has to stay in. Your love for Taylor Swift has to stay in.
okay. See, right? Okay, fine. Thank you. I don't know whether any of us has ever been to Glastonbury. Probably not. But they have announced 2023 ticket details, which will be available in early November, which is a month later than usual. Now, this is interesting because Glastonbury, there's always a big rush on to get tickets for Glastonbury, and it's pot luck because it's so popular. I wonder why they announced they're going on sale a month later.
There's usually a pre-registration where you have to upload a photo and all sorts of anti-tout measures, so it's probably likely why they've announced so early.
It's on at the same time between June the 21st and June the 25th. So let's have a look here. Who have they got lined up? Arctic Monkeys, Elton John, Harry Styles.
Are those confirmed acts? I've not seen
They're
anything confirmed.
rumoured headliners for the Friday, Saturday and Sunday.
It's a good lineup, to be honest. I mean, Arctic Monkeys, they've got a massive tour at the same time. Why would they be doing
they've just
Glastonbury
announced
as well?
a massive tour, haven't they?
They're stadium tours. Why would they do Glastonbury as well?
I mean, they'll probably shift all those tickets, so they are huge. I forget how big Arctic Monkeys have been for a long time.
Is it just a tour that they've got out now, or is it an album as well?
I'd imagine there's an album coming if there isn't, but I think
that's right. I think it's because they actually smashed their Leeds and Reading slot, so the hype around Arctic Monkeys is back.
Oh, I see. Yes, they do get hyped up a lot, don't they?
I only like the first two albums, but I mean that's just me. It seems that you've obviously got the loyal fans that have got all albums, and yeah, now they're back. They're going to be big again, I suppose.
At Glastonbury, they're going to draw a massive crowd, though, aren't they?
I'd imagine so.
It'll be huge.
A band that's been going for, 20 years?
Fuck
Yeah,
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's right
20
down
years.
like
20
modern
years,
Glastonbury. Yeah. So right down modern Glastonbury fans like avenue as well for what they like. You know, bands like the Killers, Arctic Monkeys, they're going to get huge slots.
Massive slots. Massive slots.
Huge slots.
Giggity.
Sorry.
Don't apologise. This podcast is all about the innuendo.
Yes,
so don't apologise.
Yes. All right. Now then, Maroon. Now, this next story from metalinjection.net is Maroon. The headline here: Maroon 5's Adam Levine says no hot chicks listen to metal. In case anyone cares, the arbiter of all things metal scene related, Adam Levine. I am a Maroon 5 hater. I think they're bloody dreadful. And I would not spend any of my time, valuable listening time, on Maroon 5. And I had to Google who Adam Levine is. I'm that much of I'm not a fan. This is an awful thing to come out with, isn't it? I mean, he's not doing himself any favours.
Guy's a tosser. I mean, you can sue me if he wants. He's a tosser.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
It seems like such a stupid thing just to come out. So like he's trying to bait people to talk about him, and obviously we are. There's like it sounds so like no hot chicks like metal. That's just ridiculous. Of course there are.
All the hot chicks like metal.
Exactly. I think only hot chicks like metal, but you know
exactly. Yeah.
I love this. I love this.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, why is he even talking about metal? Adam Levine from Maroon 5?
Because he's irrelevant.
He's just trying to be relevant, isn't he? It's
That's
about
it.
keeping himself
he is
relevant.
just totally irrelevant.
Yeah, he's. They've pictured him in a bin on Metal Injection,
And that's where he should stay.
It's probably the correct place for him. I just don't get him. I don't get his music. I don't understand what he wants. What do you want? What do you want from us?
He wants that. He wants this. People are talking about him. People are talking about Maroon 5 again. We're giving him airtime, and the guy's an arsehole. So let's go. Let's move on.
Can I just say, I watched on YouTube a documentary about Nickelback.
Oh fucking hell!
Now,
yeah.
Oh god.
Well, this
Where
is
are we
it.
going here?
The documentary was, and it was only 20 minutes. Why does everybody hate Nickelback? And
Took 20 minutes.
Yes, it did. Eamon, it did. It goes back. I'm going to paraphrase. I'm going to précis this now for you. Some comedian on an American show said that they were crap once, and it was used. It was cut and used as a promo for this comedy show on Comedy Central in America for like 6 months, and it was repeated constantly. Nickelback are awful. Nickelback are awful. And then it just pervaded the internet, and everyone hates Nickelback because everybody else hates Nickelback is basically the bottom line. And also, I think it's called How You Remind Me.
First single, yeah.
Yeah, that got absolutely played to death on American radio, and it pissed a lot of people off. So, I mean, I can understand that. I can understand, because there's songs that I hear that fucking piss me off, and I have to switch the station over. And so if it's on there was a period when it was out that it was never not being played on a radio station at some point in America. So you can understand why people would be getting pissed off with that. But, I mean, it's not a bad tune.
I think it's just that they're what I would call very easy listening country rock, people just, because it seems so simple, the music as well. That's why so many people are interested in it, because they can sing along to it. And I'm sure people who can play instruments can play along to it quite easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so. Why a lot of people do like them, but then why a lot of metalheads don't like them is because to me it's boring.
Safe. Boring.
That's it. It's safe rock music for the radio, and it's just sometimes it's just naff.
I don't hate them. I don't love them, but I don't hate them. I don't hate them. They are what they are, and it's spot on. It's almost like that soft rock kind of something you can throw on a Sunday afternoon when the family's round, have on in the background. Nobody's going to be offended by it. And I think that's it. I think it's very simple and straightforward, but music doesn't have to be constantly overly technical and pushing towards that kind of next technical, whatever you're doing, your guitar or whatever. It doesn't need it. Sometimes you just need a guitar, a bass, some drums, 3 or 4 chords, catchy little melody, and it's enough. And what you got to remember is that they weren't ever a band that were aimed at metalheads. They were aimed at the mainstream, and that's exactly the box they're in, and that's exactly what they've done very, very well throughout their career.
See, I compare them to the Spice Girls. And hear me out here. It works. It works.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, I'm interested. I want to know where this is going.
I'm very
now,
intrigued by this comparison now.
Well, I'll tell you what you want, what you really, really want.
Go on.
Go on then.
So it's very, very simple, right? If you're out at a club and Spice Girls Wannabe comes on, you're singing along and you're having a dance. Mm-hmm. But you will never say you're a Spice Girls fan. And it's the same if Rockstar comes on in a rock club. Everyone will say they're not a fan, and a few people will go out to the smoking area. But most people's going to be stood there singing Rockstar. Like, I think everyone secretly likes them, but are afraid to admit it.
Except
That's
us.
an interesting. I like that.
Except us. We can all happily admit here that we don't hate them. They're just not our number one. But I agree with that totally. Like, yeah. Do you know what? I'm the same with Bon Jovi.
Oh,
don't
Christ.
Like Bon Jovi.
No, not for me.
I don't like Bon Jovi, but if I've had a few cans and you stick on Living on a Prayer, I'll be singing it for the top of my voice.
Oh, it does. I can't bear it. I can't fucking bear it. No thanks. Switch it off. And I know he's very popular. I know a lot of people like him, but I just don't get it. And that's my thoughts on the subject of Bon Jovi there.
All stunned silence.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I think that says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Neil doesn't like Bon Jovi.
I like this one. This was.
I like this one.
You need to get the picture up because we were talking about, the Adam Levine thing and no hot chicks like metal, right? Well, we got an example of an absolute fucking stone cold stunner, right? She's a hot babe,
Right.
She is hot as fuck. I want her.
Hot as hell. Look at her there. Retired couple sued for blasting Iron Maiden. Now, do you think this is going to be us in later years?
Oh, for sure.
As the old say, this is from vintageheavymetal.com. They say, as the old saying goes, if it's too loud, you're too old. However, this retired couple have proven that there are no age restrictions on totally rocking out. He's 81 and she's 71. Oh no, this is the neighbours. Their new neighbour disturbed them with. Oh no, this is what. No, I was going to try and read the fucking article. Apparently, the 81-year-old man and his 71-year-old wife felt their new neighbour disturbed them with some annoying sounds. Doesn't say what they are. That's when the retired couple decided to take revenge. They pointed their stereo speakers towards the neighbour and played Iron Maiden, twisted the volume up to 11. And when police responded, they...
You've missed out a massive paragraph here. Yeah. Other neighbours noticed that the issue started in October when the new neighbours arrived and their sex life was too loud. It was reported to the police on several occasions that the new couple would go at it all night. Keep in mind, this is a retirement community. Much respect.
And much respect is needed in that. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God, I hadn't seen that. Okay. So, when police responded to the music disturbance, they'd resorted to forced entry tactics since the retired couple refused to answer police commands to open the front door. We're guessing they couldn't hear them, on account of the prisoner blaring loudly. Thankfully, no shots were fired.
Apart from the old man's.
Hey! So this is interesting. So a retirement community. You don't hear. I mean, you don't, I mean, I used to make deliveries to retirement places like this. When I used to deliver, like food from Morrison's and stuff like that. And they were all very sleepy places. They were all quite frail, to be honest. So to see sort of Neighbours at War, I think there's a show in this. I would like to see this played out. I don't want to see the old people having sex, obviously.
You prude.
Yeah, Lee's well up for that.
I mean, I'm quite happy to star in this in a few years' time. And if I'm an 81-year-old who's still getting balls deep, right, and we're loud enough to piss off the neighbours, then life's good, right?
It sounds like it.
And if your neighbours are playing Iron Maiden back at you, it's better.
Well, can we have another band other than Maiden, maybe, for me?
Yeah, well, yeah, me too. Who are you choosing?
Maroon 5, I thought.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Maroon 5, yeah. Well done. Maroon 5 versus Nickelback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm liking that. This sounds like a retirement community I want to be a part of. So let's have a look now. So she is a stunner. You're absolutely right. So Punk Rock Factory have cancelled their US tour, which is a shame. The UK and EU tour is still going ahead. I know, Lee, you like Punk Rock Factory, don't you?
I missed them at Download, but I thought the concept of what they play, obviously the very pop punky versions of all our favourite kids' TV show theme tunes, I think that's brilliant. I think I managed to hear them play the Pokemon theme tune, and then I think we walked away because that was it. That's all I needed. But yeah, I think
You were satisfied.
I think I was. I think that's I think that's a great sort of genre to hit. Kids' theme tunes from the 90s and 80s as pop punk. I like
it's great.
Me and Eamon saw them at the first ever gig, which was Bloodstock. That was the first ever show they'd played.
Really?
They played the Sophie stage on the was it Thursday, Eamon?
Yeah, if it was a Thursday night.
It was the Thursday night, wasn't it, at Bloodstock? And it was full, wasn't it? The tent was full, and they were just incredible.
Did you know what the act was going to be before you turned up?
Yeah.
And were they? So tell me, what was it as good as you thought it was going to be?
They were everything I wanted and more.
You've never seen a tent full of metalheads. Go back to like the dance tent at the Download pilot earlier. Like, this is a tent full of metalheads singing Disney songs. It was just incredible.
I've never seen them, and I feel like I've missed out.
It's worth going to see them. It's very good fun.
I've seen they do put little videos out now and again on their Instagram, which I quite enjoy. They're only little snippets though, and I feel like I need to see the full experience, to be honest. So I don't think they're. I mean, are they on any lineups so far? Because I know they're still going around the UK, but are they on a festival? Have you seen them on any festival lineups yet? I haven't.
Not currently. I'd expect them at Slam Dunk or Download, to be honest, next year.
Cool. Look out for them there. Burn It Down Festival in Torquay has announced its dates for 2023, and early bird tickets are on sale for £36. Now, we did cover Burn It Down Festival in the last episode, but what did we say about them, Lee?
I said the lineup was awesome, to put it simply. And the reason that I think we definitely should keep mentioning it is purely because the lineup they had last year, surely they should be able to replicate that quite easily. Wargasm, Death Blooms. If you like that sort of new style, sort of the new style of new metal, it's definitely a festival to go to. I've got nothing else to say on it.
It's quite a small festival, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a little 2-day festival in Torquay. But they had some big names. It's like that Castle Fest I mentioned last time as well. Like they had some, as everything unfolds, Death Blooms, Harriet, on their lineups, and these are just small day festivals or 2-day festivals. Sorry.
Yeah.
Those are the sort of shows that should definitely be worth it. We should definitely be seeing more of, or put our money towards. I think again, like Rabid Fest in Oxford, in November.
Yeah.
It's got Red Method, and Red Method have played Bloodstock 100 times, I think, and they were the Bawdy Takeover at Download last year, or this year, sorry. So
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Yes.
Which was the band that you got smashed around the face to when we went to the Bawdy Takeover?
I think that was Borders.
What are they called?
Borders.
Borders.
Yeah,
I think that's right. Yes.
Took a smack in the face at Borders, and then missed Seethe and Akira. So I was not. I mean,
because you were in the medical tent.
Only because you forced me to.
Having your face glued up.
I wouldn't have gone if you.
You would have happily continued moshing with a blood squirting out of your face, wouldn't you?
It wasn't literally squirting out my face. That was it. It was just dribbling down the lip. Just a dribble, not a squirt.
If there's no blood, it ain't good.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. So that's going on. And also, last story in our festival news, Metal to the Masses is returning. This is the Bloodstock. What are we calling this now? What's the correct way of putting this? Is it like a talent sort of thing, isn't it? It's like they're looking for new bands, aren't they?
I mean, it's essentially a glorified battle of bands, is what it is. It's in its core form, but it's more than that. So that's just the first 30 cities announced taking part. There'll probably be another 10 or 20 on top of that, and it does wonders for like the local scene. So these venues get packed out for your unsigned bands that have never played the festival before, and it gives them a massive shot. And they play in front of some of the festival bookers and just some people have got good eyes on the scene, and it's a massive opportunity for bands.
Have you ever been to any of these heats?
I've been to several, both myself and Rich. Regular at the Stoke one, of course, that's my local one. A lot of Stoke bands tend to get booked as well, which is a good time, like Hellfected last year. Absolutely phenomenal band. But yeah, they're good heats, and they absolutely pack out venues that otherwise would be quiet.
And how does it work? Do you vote, or do they have judges, or what?
So it's a bit. It depends on the venue, to be honest. Normally in the heats, it's a voting system. So in the initial heats, you go to the bar, you stick your name next to a tally about what band you want to go through. I mean, it's as simple as that. Sometimes if Simon, who's the guy who runs it all and runs a New Blood stage at Bloodstock, he'll have a bit more of a sway, so it'll go on votes and his and other Bloodstock bookers' decisions. But he'll sometimes book one or two bands from the lineup. It's not necessarily just who wins; it's who he thinks will be a good fit for the bill.
Wow, great! It sounds really good. I'm surprised you've not been to one of these, Lee.
No, I've always wanted to go, and there's never been one that's local to me. Living near Oxford now, I'm hoping. And there's a question for you guys that have been: do you ever recall ever being one in Oxford? Because I think that'd be my most local one to go to. But
I'd be very surprised if there wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that lineup, it'd be Milton Keynes, but even so, that's a trek and a half for me. Same with London. It's just a long way away.
Just trying to have a look at the list of places that might be easy for you to get to. Leicester, maybe, but who wants to go to Leicester?
I think not, and I think you know the reasons why I won't be going to Leicester.
It's a big shithole. As someone who used to live there, I can confirm it's a shithole. Well, do they announce more dates, or is that it?
There's always
possibly more to be added. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Right. Well, perhaps there's a chance for you to go to one that's more local for you, Lee.
Hopefully.
So, yeah, fingers crossed. All right, so that rounds up our festival news. Next, we're going to talk about gigs in the guide. So what gigs or festivals are coming up in the next month or two? That is what we're going to cover from now on in our unofficial guide. But first, before we get into finding out who's playing, someone has played, and Lee went to see them. Let's have a look at a gig review.
Yeah, if you saw our Instagram, you'd have seen obviously that I put up a few videos, a few brief videos of the band, the gig that I went to last night. Went to go see Vola, who are a Danish prog metal band. Saw them back in Bloodstock in 2017, and just again fell in love. Well, they're absolutely amazing. And I've never been to the garage before. They were playing at the garage in Highbury in London. And first up was the sport of a Four-Stroke Baron, who, again, they have a track called Prostitutes Part 2. And it is a...
Was that why you went?
Yeah, do you know what? I thought it was going to just
the
chuck out
name
prostitutes.
implies that already.
Yeah. I honestly, yeah, you just think, like, go to see them, and they're just going to chuck out prostitutes out of the stage. You know, it's... But I was disappointed. No prostitutes.
Off the stage.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, started really, really well. They were a great opener, great band. It's quite sort of almost like a stoner, psychedelic sort of type, very heavy band. I'd almost like compare them to a bit like Devin Townsend, who actually had a lot of influence and did the mixing for the recent album Classics. Yeah, they were a really, really good opener, and I think they didn't get a massive reception purely because I don't think a lot of people in the UK know who they are yet. But I would recommend Four-Stroke Baron to anybody that wants to try something new. Next up was Voyager. Voyager have played in the UK a few times. I think they've done Bloodstock a few times, and they were supposed to be the Australian entry for Eurovision last year.
Oh,
I know what you're thinking.
wow.
I know you're thinking, Australia's not in Europe, but they do stick an act from Australia in there for the last couple of years.
Randomly.
And Voyager was down to the final in the Australian category, I suppose you could say, and they were told no by the judges, but they did get a lot of the televote. So the people wanted Voyager.
I don't understand the judges.
didn't.
Like, how does it all work? You know, people vote at home on the phone. Then you've got this other lot who are actual judges from somewhere or other. Then they somehow combine the votes, and then you get a result. I don't understand how it all works anyway. But
no,
you know,
I'm by no means a Eurovision expert. I've only just started getting into it, to be fair. But it kind of sucked. Like, the wife told me that Voyager were potentially the Australian entry, and I thought that's amazing because they would have gotten my vote 100%.
yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't to be. But they did have a bit of a dig at it last night.
Oh, did they talk about it?
Yeah, so they played the track that they were supposed to play for Eurovision, and they basically said the jury said no, but the people said yes.
I love it.
Which seems to be the way. I think it seems to be the way at Eurovision. The jury do seem to have a lot more sway than the people.
Yeah.
That's how it was. They played that track, which was amazing. They played my favourite track, Ascension, at the end, which I was very, very happy about because Four-Stroke Baron did not play Prostitutes, which is my favourite track of theirs. So I thought it was going to go down that route, but it didn't. Vola. Yeah, they were fantastic. Again, a very small, relatively unknown band in the UK. But they hit it off straight away. It was amazing. And I had to go home early. You know me, Neil. I never stick a full gig.
No, he's never there till the end. He never sees an encore.
No, I have to leave early because now I don't live so close to London anymore. I've got to leave early to get home and make the last train. So I did miss literally half of the show, which is a shame because they were fucking amazing. But
I hate leaving early. It's just the fucking worst feeling. It happened this year to me at Download. I left one tent to go somewhere else and thought, these are shit. Why did I leave?
Who was that? Who did you leave early?
I can't remember now, but I remember it happening. I can't remember. Don't know. It was they were playing in the fourth stage, and I thought, oh right, it's time to go to see this other band. I went to see them, and they were fucking crap. And I should have stayed, and I couldn't get back in.
You've learnt a lesson. Don't leave early.
I have.
I don't want to.
And you've learnt it as well by the sound of it.
I don't want to leave these shows early. It's just sometimes that I just have to. I was glad I left Download early this year. I didn't want to see
all.
Biffy. I just wanted to go home. Saw Korn and then went.
We've all been there. We've had to leave early, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean,
it happens. You get a lift somewhere.
Yeah, it happens. But my overall review of Vola, Voyager, and Four Stroke Baron, go and see them if you can. Listen to their music because it was a fantastic show, and hopefully they'll be on the festival scene around the UK at some point this year. Next year, sorry.
Great, yeah. We'll look out for them on the circuit after Lee's recommendations. But now moving on to actual gigs that we can look forward to. That's gigs and festivals. Not so many festivals because we are, as we record this, 30th of September. It's end of the festival season. There are like one or two, surprisingly. There's like some indoor festivals, which I'm quite pleased to see. But to start us off, we have Biffy Clyro, who are doing a tour in the UK. They are, does that say 8? They've got 8 shows on. I know that Biffy Clyro, not everybody's a fan, but a lot of people are, so they'll probably want to go and see this. Oh, 9 upcoming events. That's just, why is that different to 8? What's going on here? Leeds, Glasgow, Belfast, Birmingham, London, Cardiff, and Bournemouth. They're actually doing really well on sales there because it says low availability on some of those venues. Dublin as well. There we go. Are you going to be at any of those venues to see Biffy Clyro?
No, I want to get to Birmingham, but it's mainly because if we look at their support, it's Architects are supporting them. Which is bizarre in a couple of ways. One, because it's Architects supported Biffy Clyro, but Architects played these venues themselves only a few months ago. So it's a very, very big tour in that sense, which is probably why ticket sales are doing quite well.
Yeah.
I do want to try and make for Birmingham Day. I don't know if I'm going to, but it's a massive tour.
How do you find going to gigs in Birmingham? As in, is it a pleasurable time or is it a bit shit?
I try to go to the gig and then come home as soon as possible.
Yeah.
No, I joke. I used to go to Birmingham a lot for gigs. It used to be my local area to go.
Really?
There's some good venues in Birmingham, some good pubs. They're spread out across the city, but yeah, you've got some good venues there, especially smaller venues. I'm not a big fan of like the O2 Academy in Birmingham, but everything else is fine. I quite like the arenas in Birmingham.
Do you really?
Yeah, I'm quite a fan of them. I don't know why. I just like them. They're colourful.
Yeah.
It'll do.
The NIA is a terrible venue.
It's not the best.
It's terrible.
That's not the one that's in the city, is it?
Yeah.
That's
Is it?
right in the centre, yeah. By the Sea Life Centre.
Yeah.
There's one that's a bit further away, isn't there? But I don't know what that is.
There's one by the airport, which used to be NEC Arena. I don't know what it's called now. I think it's just Birmingham Arena or Utilia
The Resorts
Arena.
World Arena, isn't it? Like,
Resorts, is it now?
Resorts World Arena or something like that.
Fancy.
Yeah, I went to the one that's in the city, the NIA.
Yeah, that's what it used to be, whatever that is now.
Yeah, I don't fucking know. And it was, yeah, I just didn't really enjoy my time in Birmingham, actually, when I went to see Royal Blood there. But I am going to the one that you don't like, the other one, the O2 Academy in Birmingham. So to see Sleep Token.
Good luck.
Yeah, well, what am I looking out for? What should I avoid?
I mean, it's not a bad venue. It is for me. The sound quality in there and the atmosphere is incredible. Like it's like a mini. It is like a mini Brixton in that sense because the sound quality is incredible. The atmosphere is brilliant, but it's weird. It's quite. I don't know how to say it. It's quite small and compact, but also quite big. And you have to kind of get down in front of a sound desk if you're standing, past the balcony before you can get kind of a good view. And it just gets quite cramped because it's quite small. But I've seen a few bands there. I've seen I saw Black Sabbath in there, which is pretty cool. But,
Really?
Yeah,
they were playing the O2 Academy?
They did before they did their reunion shows in 2012. They did one show at the O2 Academy in Birmingham. It was just them, no support. They played from 7:30 until 11 o'clock at night, and it was just beautiful.
Fucking hell.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a good venue for sound, and I go there if I have to. But I just find navigating the venue can be a bit annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, the odd places, aren't they, O2 academies? Because a lot of them used to be other purposed buildings like cinemas or other theatre type places, didn't they? So they're odd places. So that's Biffy Clyro. Pick It Up Fest is happening in High Wycombe.
That's
Lee, do you know about this one?
No, do you know what? I didn't actually until you stuck it on the script. I thought, Wycombe, hang on. I had a look. I recognised Tigress being on that lineup, and obviously there's a lot of tribute acts and cover bands on the second day on the Saturday.
Yeah.
It's at the Students' Union, which is in the centre of High Wycombe. No, I'd never heard of it. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of acts that I don't recognise. I recognise the tributes on the Saturday. You've got Foo Forgers. Do you know what I like? I quite like what they've done with the logo there, actually. Fell Out Boy. Paramore GB. Stiff Biscuit. That's very good.
I have seen Stiff Biscuit actually at Festwich, which is a kind of a family-friendly festival. So none of the acts are allowed to swear on stage.
Really?
And so when you're watching a Limp Bizkit tribute, it was pretty much just every swear word. He was just moving the mic from his face, and it was just hysterical. So funny. But they're good.
Blinked 182. Does that say Ducky?
Dookie. I imagine it's a Green Day.
Wasn't it?
I imagine Green Day, yeah.
Green Day.
The Offspin. Biffy McClyro. That's great.
Oh my god.
Do you know, I would think I would actually go to this just for the shits and giggles. It looks fun.
Yeah, that'd be a good day, a good couple of days.
You could get absolutely shit-faced, couldn't you?
Yeah.
And have a good time.
I agree with you, yeah. Yeah, I like that. So that's Pick It Up Fest. Go on.
Could I also recommend that you do what you do in Birmingham? You go there for the festival, then leave. Because Wycombe is just... there's nothing good in Wycombe. Apart from the football team.
Really?
But there's nothing good.
Oh, so it's not like you're going to get mugged on the way out or something?
You might do. I mean, it's supposed to... Wycombe's supposed to be one of those... It's an affluent area in the south of Buckinghamshire.
Oh, is it?
It's a shithole. The centre of Wycombe's a shithole. So,
yeah. Right. It's an affluent shithole. Interesting. So that is Pick It Up Festival on the 4th and 5th of November, which is at a venue called The Venue, which looks like it might be...
It's the Students' Union.
Right, okay. That's a confusing name to call your venue. But anyway, it's at The Venue, which is The Venue. So, after that, let's have a look here. We've got Seething Akira, who are touring the UK in October. Are you likely to see yourself at any of these?
No, and I've already expressed my anger. I love Seething Akira, but so it's with Confessions of a Traitor, who are playing Stoke Underground, but Seething Akira aren't doing that show, and I'm fuming.
Oh.
But I would go if I could. I absolutely love Seething Akira.
Yeah, I mean, are there no other... That's a shame.
I mean, they're doing Leeds. They're doing Leeds, Bridgewater, Brighton, and London. So closest is Leeds for me. But maybe I'll make a trek. Probably won't, so I'm lazy.
I mean, it'd be...
Isn't the Stoke show happening this evening?
Yeah, the Stoke show's tonight, but Seething Akira aren't on the bill, sadly.
Oh.
So, and I don't really know anything of Confessions of a Traitor, so I've got no idea if they're good, bad, ugly, beautiful.
And you'll never know.
Could be all four.
Worth seeing if they are.
Yeah.
Okay, so see you think, Akira. Then we've got Damnation Festival, which is at the BEC Arena in Manchester, which I did find out is Bowler's Exhibition Centre. I got very confused, I think, a couple of episodes ago when I tried to say it was this other arena that hadn't been built yet, because there is another arena being built in Manchester, which is near to the Manchester City football ground. But I don't think it's that. It's Bowler's Exhibition Centre in Manchester, which is Saturday the 5th of November. Really good prices on this one. £65 to get in, plus £4.75 fees. And there's some interesting acts.
It's an incredible lineup. They've sadly had Ministry drop out, who were their main headliner. But to replace that, the Damnation guys have just brought together 4 incredible album sets with Converge, Godflesh, Pig Destroyer, and At the Gates. It's an incredible run. Like it's ridiculous. I'm a big fan of Damnation. I've gone a lot of the years since 2007, and I'm even wearing last year's hoodie. So,
Are you?
Yeah, you can't really tell, but it's there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good day.
I mean, Pig Destroyer is a name that I'm obsessed with, frankly. That sounds like they're going to be a good band, are they?
They are a very good band. Around for quite a while as well. They were doing the rounds for a good few years, yeah.
I love that name.
Yeah, and Godflesh, who they played last year, so rebooking them wasn't an easy task for them, but they've got Street Cleaner in full, and if you want to see, if you've ever thought Motorhead, or think of the loudest band you've ever seen live, and then times it by about 100.
Wow.
Like I've never been in a room that shook that much. Like the bass was ridiculous. But it was just insane. But yeah, Damnation's looking really good, and they've secured £8 for a 2-pint cup of like dark fruits and beer and stuff, and they're really going all out.
Wow.
And it's due to sell out any second. They've got like 600-700 tickets left.
Wow.
In their first arena show, so it's going well.
So, what's the venue like? Because I've only ever been to Bowler's in Trafford Park in Manchester for very geeky computer sales things and, like a sort of tables out sort of thing. I've never been to an actual festival at Bowler's. So what's it like?
Well, they've only just really started opening up to this kind of thing, I think, because they had a hardcore festival on there a couple of months back, which was apparently dead good. There is a Star Wars bar, by all accounts, which Damnation have opened up and selling passes for in like a VIP kind of bar. But yeah, it's a very open area. So they used to be at Leeds Uni, which was very confined, and getting between the stages was just it was abysmal. It was the one thing they couldn't help, no matter what they did, and you couldn't get into some of the stages sometimes because it was too full.
Yeah.
So this is alleviating most of those problems because it's such a big. There's a whole Dodgems like within the arena. And a fun fair in the arena, and it's ridiculously big. So it should hopefully solve a lot of their problems. But yeah, I'd recommend anyone who, if you like your music on the heavier side, it's a brilliant day.
I hadn't realised it was that big, that they've got enough room to have a fun fair in there. That's impressive.
Yeah, it's nuts. I've not been to the venue myself, but just from what Gav and the Damnation team have put on from their visits, it just looks insane.
Have you been to this, Rich?
No, I've got my fingers crossed that I can get to this year's, though. It's just going to be... I'm hoping there's going to be tickets left when I can commit to it. I'd love to. There's so many bands in that lineup that it's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. And with it being in Manchester now rather than Leeds, it makes it a lot easier for me.
Yeah, closer for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lee,
they also do the...
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, they also do a Night of Salvation the night before, which is like a pre-Damnation gig, and they're doing that in the same place in Manchester, and that's got Celeste, We Lost the Sea, Ithaca, Pupil Slicer, and Mastiff, which will be a stupid
Pupil Slicer, yes.
Stupid night for 25 quid.
Yes.
It's mad. So it's almost like a 2-day festival now, because they've done this for the last couple of years. It's mad.
Are we likely to see your face at this one, Lee?
Probably not. It's a bit too far for me up Manchester, but the fact you just mentioned Pupil Slicer.
Oh, of course, you don't travel, do you?
That's fucking miles away.
You'd have to leave near the end anyway.
You'd have to leave near the end.
No, I'd have to leave halfway.
through
I'd have to leave
to
like
get your
almost
train.
like an hour in. You piqued my interest though when you mentioned Pupil Slicer. They're a fantastic band. I would like to see them on a festival lineup at some point for next year. Yeah, they're incredible.
Yeah, they did Bloodstock and they were really good there. So it's I think they're on their way up. There's a lot of talk about them at the minute.
Yeah.
Detonate Day Festival on the 5th of November. Detonate Day Festival. This is interesting. This is not one that I've come across before, actually. It's being organised by Castlefest, which has just happened, hasn't it?
Yes, it was
try and get it on the
last
screen
weekend
there.
in Luton. It's the same venue as
Luton.
Castlefest, Castle Tavern. Sorry. The only band I recognise in that lineup is Away with the Seas. I've heard a lot of good things about them.
Oh, really? What have you heard?
I mean, I just said that. I said I've heard good things. I can't elaborate
Good
more
things.
than that.
Oh, you can't? Okay.
No.
I associate with the bad name Feel Shame, but I don't know who they are.
To be fair, I associate more with Depravity, but there we go.
Swarmed, Clockwork Sky, Last Existence, Feel Shame. That's when is that? That is Saturday, the 5th of November, at the Castle Tavern in Luton. That's how you say that, isn't it, Lee?
Luton.
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 So next we've got. See, there's not many festivals, but they're still putting them on. They're like little festivals, aren't they? Just little indoor
Small ones.
festivals that are happening. Airborne is playing. I believe Airborne are regulars at Download, aren't they?
Yep.
Pretty much. Can't get rid of them.
Airborne.
I share that
are
sentiment.
You can't get rid of them from the down. Somebody keeps booking them, and somebody's booked them to do 5 events. We've got 2 shows in Inverness, which is a
That's
long
the
way
same-
away, isn't it? Unless
Neil, hang
live
on,
there.
you don't. That's November the 25th and November the 25th, both at 7:00. There's something quite wrong there on that listing because they're both the same day.
Oh yeah. Oh, I wonder why. Maybe it's 2 different people doing tickets or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it says on partner site, so it's probably as a sort of a sister site.
Yeah. Then you've got Glasgow as well, so it's a Scottish themed. Are they Scottish? I don't know. Airborne. And then you've got Manchester O2 Victoria Warehouse, which is absolutely huge, which is, mind-blowing that they would book somewhere like that. And then they've got London O2 Academy Brixton, which is like, I don't know what that's, but apparently it's quite a big place. But the O2 Victoria Warehouse in Manchester, that's huge. That's massive.
That is big.
Yeah. So, see, it's an odd tour, that, isn't it?
Well, I thought they were one of those.
Band, don't they? They're a big band.
I thought they were one of those quite not generic, easy listening AC/DC type bands that a lot of old school fans
It's
go
dad
for.
rock, isn't it?
Yeah. It's exactly what they are. And like I loved them, and I probably still would love them. I've not listened to any of their stuff for years, but when they released Running Wild, I loved that album. But I've not listened to any of their stuff. If I saw them live, I'd have a lovely time though.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're inoffensive, aren't they? They're fine.
They do what they do very well. They're a great band. Great band.
Then we have got Coheed. I've spelled that wrong. I've put Coheed. Coheed and Cambria. And for those of you who remember those early episodes of Festpod, you might remember Dave Kingdon, who was on those early episodes, and he's a massive fan of Coheed and Cambria. They are doing 6 dates in the UK. That's coming up fairly soon. Let's have a look at where they're going to. Bristol, which is looks like it's sold out. Limited availability there. I'm never sure what it means on Ticketmaster when it says limited availability. Is that sold out? Because when I've tried to book Sleep Token today, And
it means they're going to fleece you and put the prices up because there's high demand for them.
Oh, does it? Those bastards. Bristol, Birmingham, London, Manchester, Nottingham, Rock City, and Glasgow. If you want to see Coheed and Cambria. What are your thoughts on Rock City? That's a venue I've been to.
It's probably my favourite venue of all time. It's my favourite venue in the UK by far. Like it's probably my local now, and it's just great atmosphere, great sound, and you just feel you get about 2,500 people in there, and you just feel so close to every band, like because of the way the venue's laid out. Like I absolutely love the place, and I think a lot of artists do that play there as well. So it's a phenomenal venue.
It's quite a weird shape, isn't it? Because it's sort of oblong shapes, but in the wrong way. You feel like no matter
it's
where...
horizontal. Not landscape. No, not portrait. That's the same thing.
Yes, there you go.
It's not portrait.
And I don't think I could get my head around it, and it freaked me out, and I wasn't sure. And is there an upper level to it as well?
Yeah, so there is a balcony and a balcony bar and stuff up there. It's if you can get up on a balcony, it's a great view up there.
Yeah.
It's always quite a battle, but you know, if you get on the floor, you've got a good view from anywhere because you're just right next to the stage wherever you stand, pretty much.
Who have you seen there?
Who haven't I seen there? I mean, I pretty much Enda Shikari are like the house band that I see there all the time. But you know, I've seen Enda Shikari, Trivium. I feel like I've seen Korn in there. Yeah, I've seen Korn in there. I've seen Avenged Sevenfold in there before they started in arenas. You know, you name them, they've probably played there, and I've probably been there.
It is. I hear it's a legendary venue.
It is. It's very much legendary. Like a lot of artists have played there in history. It's one of these independent venues that have just never changed. It's never been bought out by the O2s and the Carlings and all that lot. It's just purely independent.
Have you been there, Rich?
I have, yeah, several times. It's, again, share the sentiment. Absolutely outstanding venue. Great views, great sound, good bar access, 2-pint cups. You know, you're right. You're almost touching distance of the artists, wherever you are. It's really, really good venue, and I wish I could get over there more often because I'd much rather see bands in that venue than some of the others that we get.
Yeah, definitely.
Good sound system, as I recall.
Oh, absolutely. And it's just any acoustics in there are just make for it.
So if you want to see Coheed and Cambria, they will be visiting Nottingham Rock City. So we've also... Pup are on tour, which is a Canadian punk band. Are you familiar with Pup?
I very much know the name from other people, but I can't say I've ever listened to any.
I had a little bit of a listen, and I quite like it. It's not one that I'm familiar with really, but again, I've heard the name before, but couldn't place any tracks. But yeah, I like these guys. They're doing 6 dates in the UK. They'll be on in Manchester. At the O2 Ritz, which has a very bouncy floor. Apparently, I've never been in. London's Roundhouse, again, which I've not been to. Have you been to that one, Lee?
Yes, I saw him at the Roundhouse.
Him?
Their last ever UK show, or the last ever show ever, and. Not a huge him fan. Obviously, it was the wife that booked the tickets, so she absolutely loves them. But to be honest, it was a great show. The venue itself is literally the description's in the name. It's a roundhouse. It's a great little venue.
Is it in Brixton or Camden or something?
I want to say Camden, or Kentish Town. So roughly around. I think it's Camden, Kentish Town is roughly just around the same area. So yeah. Not far from Camden.
I've always got the impression it's a nice little venue, actually, the Roundhouse, but I've never been, so I'd like to. Glasgow TV Studio, Brighton Chalk, Bristol, and Birmingham's O2 Institute. That's happening in October. So if you want to go and see a bit of pop punk, Go and see Pup. Now, these Fontaines DC, who again, I didn't know who they were, but I have heard the name. So again, I did a little bit of looking, and quite like these as well. I would definitely go and see these. Fontaines DC. They're Irish, aren't they?
They are, yeah. I've actually seen them live at Why Not Festival a couple of times. They're kind of a regular there. I never listened to them on record or on Spotify. But live, they're pretty good. They put on a nice show. They're good fun.
Yeah, I've only listened to a couple of tracks, and the couple of tracks I listened to I really liked. So I would actually, I'm half even considering spending the money to go and watch these. Although, if the tickets are selling out, Hull, you'll probably do all right. Hull's Bonus Arena, Leeds, this is in November, Leeds O2 Academy, limited availability, which probably says no tickets left. Then another date in Leeds. Manchester's O2 Victoria Warehouse, which is another one where you've got limited availability. Oh, there's a couple of dates. There's 3 dates at the Victoria Warehouse. Wow, I know exactly. They're a huge band, aren't they?
I had no idea they were that big. I'll be completely honest.
No, well, I mean, you don't hear that much about them.
No.
Stockton-on-Tees, which is an interesting choice of destination to go to. But there we are, Stockton Globe, Glasgow, a couple of dates there, Swansea Arena, Birmingham, Nottingham Rock City, London's Eventim Apollo, Edinburgh, Belfast. There's loads of dates they're doing. This is a big tour for them. 28 dates that I'm looking at there. So let's have a look at this. Mid-November. They're in Manchester on the 13th. That looks like the only dates that I would be able to really do. 31.50. Possibly. Thinking about
Possibly happening.
Yeah. Are you buying a ticket
Let's
now?
see, will I be able... I'm looking at it.
Is this happening?
I'm looking. I just want to see.
Can we get through to the to the purchase phase, and can you just type in your bank card for me?
The last 3 on the back.
Yeah.
Oh, look, they are available. You can get tickets because there's 3 dates at the O2 Victoria Warehouse, and 2 of them look like they're pretty much sold out. But you could get there on the 13th if you wanted to go. Might see you there. Parkway Drive, While She Sleeps, and Lorna Shore kicks off tonight. And you're going to this, aren't you, Eamon?
Oh, I am in Sunday in Nottingham at the arena, not Rock City, sadly, but yeah, what a lineup. I mean, Parkway Drive bringing their full stage up alone, but While She Sleeps, probably one of the hottest bands of the last 2 years. I think weirdly they really thrived in thanks to the pandemic. They had massive slots at Bloodstock and the Download Pilot, and then Lorna Shore for a band that I don't think has any original members. They're incredible, and Will Ramos is just giving them a whole new lease of life as a band. If you've not seen any of it or heard any of his vocals, it's just phenomenal. And they were ridiculous at Bloodstock, and I think they're going to have a big year. But it's a ridiculous lineup.
That sounds great. That does. So that is literally about to start, isn't it? You've got Saturday, October the 1st at the Manchester Arena, Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham. On the Sunday, 3rd of October, the Monday, Cardiff Motorpoint Arena. And then they're off around the world, aren't they? So you've only got those 3 days.
Yeah, and then the next few weeks, who knows? They'll be announced for download, maybe.
Yeah, I mean that
do you think
date
so?
there. Yeah, the 8th of June, which is obviously the first day of download music this year. You got to imagine the 3 days after they could be in the UK for download. If they're on the Saturday, that's
because
awesome.
They're in Austria, aren't they, for Nova Rock? Yeah.
So if they're on the Saturday for download, that's the day I want to go for download. Just going to doing a day ticket. If they're there, that has to be amazing because, as Eamon said, the vocalist they've got now is just phenomenal. there's a track that's top of all their, I think the top of their Spotify. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's something he does at the end of that track. Yeah, Eamon, I can see your face. You know what track I'm talking about.
To the Hellfire, yeah.
That's it, to the Hellfire.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's something he does with his vocals at the end there that is just, I'm captivated. I've heard it been described as a pug dying, but to me, it sounds incredible. But yeah. I'm actually. Do you know what? That lineup, Lorna Shore, Washington Parkway. Yeah, that's an incredible lineup for a show, and I'm actually a little bit jealous.
Yeah, and tickets are only like, I think they were like 50 quid, which is nothing nowadays for an arena show, especially of that caliber and lineup. It's cheap.
It's a bargain, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
you don't
think
pay
it
50
is.
quid for an arena show nowadays. Let alone it's been a while since I've wanted to see all 3 bands on a bill like that. So
Yeah, that's
taking
quite
it.
rare, isn't it?
That's what I was like last night with Fowler, 4-Stroke Baron, and Voyager. The minute I saw the lineup, I thought I'm gonna get there for doors to see all 3 bands. Granted, only saw half of Vola's set, but you know, got to see all 3 of them at some point.
You saw them.
I did.
So if there's a gig, a festival, or a piece of music that you want to recommend to us, let us know on the socials or in the comments below. Just search for Festpod if you're searching for us. Next up, we're going to get our Festpod Favourites. This is where we recommend something that we've seen that we like. Lee, let's go for you first of all. What's your Festpod favourite
Well,
for
I'm currently
this
I'm
episode?
currently trying to pull it out, and I know it looks kind of strange pulling it out. I'm looking down.
Like,
What? No,
because-
this is not. We're not doing that, Lee.
It is quite small, so I bet it is hard to find.
I'm not even going to argue that. I don't actually think this makes it even funnier. I don't think it's actually in what I've got. No, it's not. Right. So basically, we're all aging, aren't we? And the only
Oh,
thing.
thanks for that. Yes, Lee.
Yep, we're all aging. We're all getting old. And it's something that I've only started doing the last couple of years. It's taking ear protectors for gigs and that, like earplugs. And I have here a little case, Hear Protect, basically a little brand that basically have their own earplugs. And they're not like the normal little foam ones you get. You've got 3 different types of settings that you can interchange depending on what, how sensitive you want them. Earplugs will generally take out the loud booming bass and high frequencies, and this pack here gives you the sort of choice of which ones you actually want. I recommend them because basically you need your hearing. Nobody wants to be deaf early, and unfortunately, it's an occupational hazard when you go to gigs quite a lot. So yeah, my recommendation is earplugs when you go to festivals and gigs.
Is there a particular set that you've got there that you like? Because I know you've got multiple sets of earplugs, haven't you?
No, these are generic, so just generic pair of earplugs. You can get. It doesn't really matter the product name on them. They're all generally the same. It was just compared to the foam ones that you can put in your earplugs, where you get in all sorts of industries, not just obviously working behind the bars and gig venues. These ones, they have 3 different types of settings, so you can cancel out different types of frequencies and bass notes.
Because everyone's hearing is unique, isn't it? Everyone has their own. I don't know what I'm saying there really, but their own sort of hearing. Everyone's got their own hearing, and sensitivity to certain frequencies or whatever. Yeah. It's probably wise to have a look around to see what suits you. Yes. All right. There's your Festpod favourite for this episode. Let's move on to Rich. What's your Festpod favourite?
So just want to quickly say 100% agree with Lee there. I've started doing it over the last 18 months or so, and it's made such a difference to my life. I use Alpine hearing protection, which is what a lot of musicians use on stage, and they're just wonderful at reducing the entire frequency bands down a couple of steps, so you still get the music how it should sound, just at an actual listenable volume. and they're great. But anyway, for me this month, I have gone for it's something from Biffy fucking Clyro, and they've just released on pre-release a celebration of endings live from the Barrowland Ballroom in Glasgow. The thing they did during COVID, where they live streamed the entire celebration of endings LP. Absolutely incredible. If you haven't seen it, watch it. But they've just released it. Well, they're releasing this on the 14th of October. It's on pre-order now. It's 40 quid. It's a 2 LP set. A Blu-ray of the show on an exclusive print. There's 3,000 of them worldwide. Get on it. This is going to be an incredible collector's item. Just store.biffyclyro.com. There you go.
There we go. So we've got some very nice looking vinyl there, actually.
Absolutely. I was drawn to them like a magpie or something. Just like the color of them. If they come out like that, they're going to be incredible.
Is that silver or white?
See that I've been toying with this. I think it's silver.
Okay,
but it probably will be white because that makes more sense.
What are you most looking at forward to from this package of a print, LPs, and Blu-ray? All of it, to be honest with you. I think the LPs are going to be incredible to hear that show off vinyl. But also, it's a show that, I don't know, you can get it out there for free, but this is like, it's the collector's item, and the actual show itself on Blu-ray is going to be incredible as well. So I'm half-mast over all of it. All right, I'm just, I'm there. I'm there. Wow, and it's on its way, is it? Oh yeah. Cool. Eamon, what's your Festpod favourites?
Well, those two are pretty hard to beat because I agree with both of them. Biffy Clyro and earplugs all over. I was looking for my earplugs, but I can't find them, so that bodes well for Sunday. But I'm actually going to have a favourite, which is a book, which is odd for me because I can't read. No, I can just. But this book is...
He's not even joking. You can't. Don't laugh at him.
I might get the audio version.
I love audiobooks.
This one could be particularly good because it's the Shikari biography, the first ever one. Which you might think it's weird that Shikari has a biography because you associate that with bands that have been going for 20 plus years, but actually they have been. You know, they're over 20 years as a band now, Shikari, and they're still in their original form. So it's been quite a ride for them. I think I've followed them since the early 2000s. I've even since they supported my friend's band at a gig.
Wow,
like that kind of early on. And I've probably seen them 50 plus times. I lost count, but they're a band I've followed a lot. So it'll be good to see how they've stuck to their guns, and you know they've always been keen to be independent for as much as they can. So I think it should be a very interesting read. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. This one is out on October 26th, and it's Standing Like Statues. There it is.
Oh,
just down the
cool.
bottom there. But yeah, Standing Like Statues is an actual biography, and it's done by Luke Morton, who is actually quite a reputable music journalist, and he's an editor for Kerrang and has been for quite a while. So he knows his stuff about the band. So it should be really good.
Ooh, Lee, are you going to get this?
I am now masturbating it. Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued.
Yeah, it's a hardback as well. That it's quite it's going to be a meaty book.
Oh God!
Fucking hell.
Sorry,
a meaty book.
Yes, we all like a meaty book.
That's what we're going with.
A meaty hardback.
Yeah, well, yeah. Why not? Why not? My Festpod favourites. Now, as someone who visits Download pretty much every year since 2016, I've noticed that people love to talk about Greggs and how they wish there was a Greggs on site. I feel like you've got stuff to say.
I love a steak bake.
Who doesn't like a Greggs?
For those listening outside the UK, Greggs is a chain of bakeries in the UK, which is very popular.
I prefer a Sayers, I'll be honest with you.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Can we kick Rich from the call, please?
But I found that Greggs as a bakery has done something very weird. Now, this is probably genius on their part, but they have started making, in partnership with Primark, which is a clothing store in the UK, for those outside the UK, they have started making merchandise. So I have actually bought some, which I have here, and I'm going to demonstrate for you. Now then, I know it's not a steak bake, but
You've actually got the T-shirt.
Oh my God.
Yes.
This has taken a turn.
Can we kick Neil from the call, please?
This is, do you know what? This is the nearest we're going to get to Greggs being at Download is when I'm wearing this T-shirt. So it's not... it's Primark, which is a cheap brand. So it's not exactly expensive, £8 for a T-shirt. They also had... Now, when you go to Download on the merch stall, you know how they've got those really expensive sort of... it's like a cardigan. I don't know what to expect. I can't really... It's like a jacket thing. It's like a cardigan jacket thing. You must know what I'm talking about. £50.
A hoodie?
A hoodie.
It's not a hoodie. It's not a hoodie. It's like a jacket. It's like a jacket. Anyway, they've got those with Greggs written down the side of the arm. I mean, they've got quite. They've got sliders. They've got shorts, sausage roll briefs.
Oh,
What, they've missed a trick there. They've missed a trick. Why haven't they got a large sausage roll appropriately positioned? You know,
They should have really, shouldn't they? They should have thought about that. £9.
and a donut on the back.
Yes.
Well done.
Why do you see? You should be working for them and suggesting all these. Well, there's a hoodie that they've got. It's. I mean, you know, I have to say it's quite nice. Apart from the fact that it's got Greggs written all over it, they've got a Greggs. What the hell? See, when I was young, we used to call this a bum bag, and if you're in the States, you might call it a fanny pack, but Greggs and Primark want to call it a crossbody bag, which is...
It's because the way that the youngers now wear their bum bags or fanny packs, it's across here. It's not
Across their body.
meant to be around your waist.
It's across where, sorry? Across the shoulder like that, okay.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
it makes it easier for them to get their drugs in and out. So.
Let's get them out here and just...
Yeah. So they've also I mean, you know, I was trying to ham-fistedly describe a jacket to you. Well, I think I've got a picture of it here. There it is. It's a sort of, oh my God. I mean, could you see yourself in that? It's I don't know what we're describing this as really, but
It's a varsity jacket, isn't it? It's just a button up or hoodie,
He looks
isn't
like
it? Essentially,
he looks like he went to Woodstock '99.
he does. He does.
I can't see anything. The image hasn't come up on my screen yet.
Okay. Well, it's a bloke with
Oh, there we go.
I can't see. I can't really describe this.
He looks like Macaulay Culkin was into new metal.
Yeah, well, I see. Again, I can't argue with that. Because they've even got these lovely
Fucking Crocs.
Crocs with Greggs
Jesus
written on.
Christ.
Wow.
Now, at Download, it wouldn't be out of place. But I don't know about anywhere else.
No, there is a bloke that goes to Download. I think he does a lot of other festivals around the country as well, where he does wear a full Greggs suit.
Does it?
I mean, blazer, trousers, tie. He wears the full shebang, and it's hilarious. But yeah,
So not so foolish now, am I? Spending £8 on a T-shirt that just says Greggs on it.
no, you are. I mean, Why don't you wear it at Download?
Well, that was the idea.
And
I
get
was
the
going to
full
wear it
kit.
around where I live.
Why don't you
Why
wear it
not?
on the next podcast?
Yes.
just saying.
Well, because I think wearing it on a podcast that is now visual for 2 hours might constitute an advert. And to be honest, I think I'd want some Greggs for it or some cash. So unless I tell them I'm going to be wearing some of their lovely merch, I don't think I'm going to do that, really.
Hey, could you imagine that? We were just sat here like eating like the Greg's pastries and that during the podcast.
And that's going to sound lovely, isn't it?
Oh, get that ASMR in.
Yeah, lovely. People love that sort of thing. Anyway, God. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know if it's a recommendation, really, but just information that you can buy Greg's merch. If you want to be close to the brand, Download, that's probably the nearest you're going to get to it. Because it's never going to happen, is it? They're never going to bring a Greg's to Download. It's never going to happen. You need to get over it.
I'm sure people said that about Co-op.
And Domino's.
Is Domino's
Domino's
isn't a Download, is it?
Domino's happened once. It was a disaster, but it even did delivery to campsite hubs. It happened once.
When
it was about
was
20
that?
quid for like a slice. It was maybe 2012, 2013, somewhere around that kind of time.
And it was
It
a
was
fucking
1
disaster.
year. Yeah. It was
What
awful.
happened?
Well, it was like Domino's pizza was expensive anyway, but they'd charge about 30 or 40 quid for something that's normally 20 quid. And then you could get it delivered to the campsite hub, of which is just these poor volunteers being handed about 400 pizzas. And they're having to deal with all these pizza orders, not having a clue what's gone on or who's ordered what.
my
It was a beautiful mess, and they never returned. What a shame.
Whereas on the other side, Greg's might actually work quite nicely.
Yeah,
I can see it happening, but it's never going to
like a good pastry.
So that's it. If you like what you've heard, please consider supporting Festpod on Patreon, which we now have an account set up for. So if you want to support us, all the money will go back into making Festpod. So that'd be very nice if you just search for Festpod on Patreon. We'd be very grateful. Or you can just give us a review, be nice to us, wherever you've found us. And if it's not a 5-star review, why bother? Don't bother. Just give us a 5-star review and tell us how great we are. We'd love that. It does help more people find us, basically. That's why we're asking you to do a review. We are on the socials as well. Just look for Festpod. And on YouTube, which you may well be watching us on right now. But if you're not, again, just search for Festpod. So that's it. Thanks for watching or listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye. A Wilco Productions podcast.
I love a steak bake.